Hello, everybody. Well, let's actually give a couple people like a couple minutes to come on before we start talking. I'm going to share the live on my personal page so that anybody that there we go. All right, so I shared it on my personal page too. So this is being streamed on. I have a YouTube page, and then the Brews page. And then also, I just started streaming on they're new, fairly new, but it's called BB3 TV. So it's getting streamed on there. It's getting streamed on Paranormal Brews page, and then my personal page and YouTube.
That's very cool. And also, I want to let you know we're on NBC, ABC, and CBS right now.
Really? No. I made it. No. This is it's the crazy thing is I don't even do this for myself. Like, I do this for the community, for our peers, for the people we work. Just because the shows give the paranormal field such a bad it's entertainment, and there's people in the world that aren't a part of the paranormal field. They don't realize that. They don't realize that's just entertainment, And so I do this to promote my peers and, my fellow paranormal investigators and everything that they do. And so with that being said, I'm going to stop talking. Everybody that's joining me, we have some people in. So, tonight I have special guests. I have Keith and Jessica from Paranormal Dares, and they're going to do a lot of talking at first because I want them to introduce themselves and talk about, each other. Keith's going to talk about himself, and then Jess is going to talk about herself. And they are, if you can't tell, they're totally in love. So then they're going to talk about when they get together and how they started Paranormal Dares, which I hope to someday, one day, check that out.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, we got a lot of events coming up, so we can make that happen.
That's awesome, which we're going to talk about that too. So let me be quiet and you go ahead and start. All right. So Keith, you start and then hand it off to your beautiful lady over there.
Okay. So a lot of people who don't know me, my name's Keith Fournier. I've been in the paranormal now over 20 years. I've kind of lost track at this point. Started out like many people in the field, just doing home investigation. Well, investigating by myself first, and then with friends, kind of UFOs, Bigfoot. Ghost wasn't actually my first thing that I investigated. It was more cryptid stuff. And then kind of moved into, over the years, starting my own teams. I was co-founder of Night Stalkers Paranormal. Ran that for many years and did a lot of events down south, para-unity events. We did tons of investigations at homes and private residential cases, helping people out with kind of paranormal problems. I've done UFO events. I've hosted UFO events. I've also hosted Bigfoot hunts, and actually many years ago had a heart attack at one of my Bigfoot hunts, so that was bad.
Really?
Yeah. And,
was it because you got scared, or was it just a freak?
Well, we could go with that, but no, it was just no. I was just it happened. It was kind of happened very suddenly, and it actually killed me. I died, and if it weren't for some very good friends and some people in the paranormal world that were there, I probably wouldn't be doing this interview right now. So a lot of people saved my life that night. And then, oh gosh, and then we decided about 3 years ago to start Paranormal Dares.
From two.
No, it's three. It's three now. 2018, the end of 2018, we decided to start Paranormal Dares. I've always wanted to do something in the event world. Everybody kind of slams event companies, they're just in it for the money. They're just in it. But that's not really the case. Most event companies lose a lot of money, number one, or break even at a lot of events. But it's a very good way to share your knowledge and your experience. it's a very good way to go to a lot of locations that you might not normally be able to go to, and to bring a lot of people to those locations. So I look at it more kind of like that. You know, we haven't gotten rich from having Paranormal Dares, probably won't ever, but we have had an opportunity to investigate hundreds of locations around the country that we may have never done just doing it, the two of us, or on a paranormal team or something like that. So it's given us the opportunity, I think, to share our knowledge, to share a lot of years in this business and making a lot of friends in this business and their knowledge that I've learned with a lot of investigators around the country, a lot of teams around the country. So that is kind of what I set out to do, and we've been able to do that so far. Fingers crossed. COVID almost, collapsed us this past year, as it did just everybody. But we're kind of up and running again. We've got, I think, 5 events out there right now posted, and there's a lot more coming up. So we're excited.
So it's interesting. So you said you started out doing UFO, Bigfoot. Now, was this like, I did UFO for 10 years, then I'm going to do Bigfoot for 5 years. And then, because I've always been on the, for lack of a better word, ghosty side of things. I am having something coming up. I'm not a big Bigfoot believer. I believe that there are other life forms out there in the universe. Yes. I don't know if they're green with big eyes and, this and that. I don't know what us as, I always say this, us as humans, we have to label everything, right? So who knows what's out there, but I'm having this Bigfoot thing and Jersey Devil, which I don't believe in that either. And ghost hunt, this in a couple weekends. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm going along to learn and to see how they research and see how, and I want to be educated on it. Even if I don't believe in it, I want to learn about it,
That's correct.
So how did you switch it up? I mean, was it,
Well, when I was very young, I'll kind of go all the way back to my childhood here.
Wait, can you pause? Okay, so Chris is asking me, how does he join?
Oh, okay. Tell Chris, and I'm going to be looking down, but I'm going to send him the link.
Chris at Paranormal Dares.
Sorry. It's Chris at ParanormalDares.com.
.com.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to send him the link. Just keep talking. I'm listening. Okay. And I'm sending.
So, when I was very young, we're talking about 10, 11 years old, living in Mansfield, Ohio, I had a major UFO incident happen in our backyard. This was a nationally publicized case where the police, the National Guard, everything chased these, unidentified flying objects around our county. And one happened to set down or land or whatever it did in our backyard, in a field in our backyard. And I was a witness to that as a child, all the hubbub, all the military people, everything coming. So from that point on, I always had a very, very strong interest in the paranormal, whether it be UFOs, whether it be cryptids. So as I got older, that kind of desire to find out things that were, extraordinary or not of the ordinary kept nagging at me. So I started investigating. And then after many years, I didn't start catching things right away. And I hear that a lot of our events, people are like, well, I've been to, 12 places now and I haven't caught anything yet. I did it for 6 years before I actually saw something that I knew 100% was not something of this world or something that I could explain scientifically or logically. It just absolutely blew me away. But I did it for 6 years before that happened. So I just tell people, don't give up. The people that have passed on obviously are not trained monkeys. They're just like us. And if the time is right and they want to reveal themselves or something's going to happen, it's going to happen. But you can't make it happen. Does that make sense?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Nothing acts on command, right?
That's correct.
So, I think so how old were you when you had that experience in your backyard?
It was either 9 or 10. I was going on 10, I believe. But I was
and what did the rents say? Were they like, you're crazy?
No, my parents were involved in it. Our neighbor, I mean, everybody in town knew it was going on. It was all over the papers, all over the news. It's been looked at by many UFO researchers. It was a pretty, nationally publicized case. Many police cars chase these things down the road. So it was a big deal. And of course, being a child, my parents were all, yip, yip, yip. And it was all in the newspapers, on the local TV station. So, that really had an impact on me as a child. So, growing up, I always kind of believed things were out there because that's what I saw when I was a kid.
Sure.
So, it was just natural for me to go into that field. And then, Jess.
So then tell us how we crossed paths with Jess.
Oh yeah. So
Jess.
So about I'm guessing what, 6 years ago? Yeah, somewhere in there.
So I don't know.
So we met through long string of circumstances, and we were friends for a long time. We actually went to some investigations when I had a paranormal team. She came and joined our team, went to some investigations, and then eventually we kind of formed a relationship and ended up here at Paranormal Dares. So I've been doing it for 3 years. She told me to never make it boring. So traveling the entire country with me, I think she got more than she bargained for. So
no, I think she's having she's having a blast.
Yeah.
So Jess, were you into the paranormal before you met Keith?
Yeah, I was. Ever since I was a little girl. Oh wait, it's Chris.
Hey, Chris. Hi, Chris.
You made it.
Yay. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Now, okay. So after Jess, then Crystal, we'll give Chris the floor. I didn't know how long you were there. I'm sorry. I was looking at Jess while she was talking.
You're fine.
All right. So go ahead. So you were in the paranormal. You were into the paranormal when you met Keith.
Yeah. Since I was really young, I've got like family members that have told me stories. Half of them I remember, half of them I don't. But stuff connected to the paranormal. I've always been able to sense things and, just kind of see things. But I kind of didn't pursue any of it. You know what I mean? Like I just was there. And then when I met this dork face, I decided, there's a lot, he has a lot in common, we're experiencing a lot of the same things. And yeah, I mean,
that's awesome. That's awesome. And it's always good to have that person, you know what I mean, that you can share all this stuff with. It's easy, you like watching the same shows, you like doing the same things, going the same places, you know what I mean? So it makes it easy, to enjoy your passion even more because you have somebody that's
she had a lot of experiences as a young girl and as a child. Some of them not so good, some of them good, but things that she never really understood, and she had some abilities, or at least I felt.
So I want to tell you though, the reason he's explaining it is because sometimes I'm kind of uncomfortable and I stutter and stuff. So he could tell you.
Oh, I got you. He's got your back, girl.
Yeah. She's a model who's camera shy, but yeah, she just had a lot of things going on. Things she'd been seeing for a long time, abilities that she's had, that not only I helped her with, or that we, were able to discuss, but I knew people in this field, friends like John Zaffis and people that have been doing this.
Who is awesome. I love him.
Well, people that I've known throughout the years that I could connect her with to kind of help her develop or understand the things that are going on with her.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, so now, Chris, were you after Paranormal Dares started?
What's that now? What?
So they basically, real quick before we start talking about Paranormal Dares, is what I want to talk about, and like I want everybody to know all about that because that's a really cool thing that you guys do. Just a little bit about yourself, like how you got into the paranormal and how you crossed paths with these two, and then we're, all that stuff.
For me, it started when I was about 4 years old. My family used to make maple syrup, and Keith and Jess have heard this story a bunch of times. We used to make maple syrup, and I would listen as a 4-year-old to my dad and his brothers talk about my grandma's farm and all the experiences they had there. And from then on, it just kind of sparked in me. I wanted to have some type of paranormal event happen to me. And first thing I would do as a kid is go running to whatever library or bookstore I was in, looking for books on the paranormal or ghost stories or what have you. I didn't have my first experience probably till the early 90s. And it was actually a station that Keith and I used to work in. Out on Beer Road, I think it was.
Yeah.
Beer Road.
Yeah.
B-E-E-R, Beer Road?
B-E-E-R, Beer Road.
That sounds like a place where I should be doing Paranormal Brew.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the building's been torn down. But, yeah, and so it was like once I had my first experience, it just started to snowball, and I started having one after another. Keith and I have known each other. Well, honestly, Keith and I's paths have crossed since we were kids. We didn't know it till we started talking, but we used to go to the same camp during the summer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wasn't born yet, by the way. I was not born yet. Just putting that out there.
Awesome. That's okay. My boyfriend's 15 years older than me, so I like to remind him of that too.
Yeah, she reminds me also.
We actually worked together for several years at the ambulance service. I worked full-time at the fire department and then part-time for the ambulance service, and he and I were partners for most of that time. Mm-hmm. So after I retired, I was just kind of goofing around, and I looked and I had his number. I had been to his, after I retired, I had actually went to Tennessee, hung out with him for a little bit, did some ghost hunting with him down there, and actually met Jess, which, yeah.
Don't make it sound so bad.
So then, as more time went on, I had done a couple things in between then, and probably 5-6 years went by. Actually, it was more than that because that was 2012, and I got a hold of you like when did you start Paranormal Dares? 2018. Yeah, so I got a hold of him shortly after they had started and said, "Hey, is your number still good?" He calls me up. We have a conversation. He invites me out to do an event with him, and I stuck around. He can't get rid of me now.
And 88,000 miles later, he's still with us.
We're still
All right,
here.
so let's talk about this. So how did you guys? What's the concept behind Paranormal Dares? And then how did it start? And then I want to know if I was going to go to a Paranormal Dare event as a customer, like what I expect and like what, all that stuff. So I want to know all about it.
Okay, so basically whenever someone logs on like paranormaldares.com or whatever, our idea is that if you send us a dare and we go investigate, just like an event we're about to do shortly, we find it haunted and everything else, then the person that sends us the dare gets to come to our event for free. They get to stay. They get all the behind the scenes, everything like that. So it's like you dare us to go there, but then we're going to dare everyone else to go with us.
Yeah. So that was a concept we came up with when we got so many emails. We still do, actually. We were just looking at them before we logged on.
Yeah.
But we were
That's awesome.
Yeah, we were getting like 160 to 180 emails a week.
But I've got to pause. Like, grandma's closet doesn't count. We got to be able to fit people in there.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I was going to say, so we got a lot of them from people like they said, the cemetery behind my house is haunted. My grandmother's upstairs closet is haunted, things like that. So, those are all great stories and we love to hear them. And we read, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. But the ones that we could do something with, we would actually find the best cases or find places that we knew that we could actually get to, investigate ourselves. And if we found it to be legitimate, because there's a lot of people that claim things that aren't, if it was a legitimate haunting, nothing of this earth going on, or we felt it was legitimate, we would try to set up an event and then have that person, bring that person to the event as like a VIP guest. We did it in numerous locations around the country. And it was just a great concept. And we still get tons and tons of email.
Just today, like in the last 30 minutes, I have like 10 new dares.
Yeah. So
it's mostly people's houses or are there locations, like places and.
Yeah, some of them are locations. I would say a lot of them we get are people's houses because they're just kind of, I think a lot of people just want us to come investigate houses, want to investigate.
Which we respect that and we do, but it's kind of different from.
Well, it's not feasible. I mean, it's not cost effective for us to, we can't go to California and investigate somebody's cemetery and then fly to Wyoming and investigate somebody's closet. I mean, obviously it has to be, feasible.
But there are times that individuals will contact us and, we'll work with them and help them for free, show up at their place and stuff.
Actually, that reminds me, just today we got, you remember that?
Yes. Yes.
We were at the store today shopping and
was wearing our shirt.
Yeah, stopped us in the store and he said, hey, do you guys, investigate homes? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, we live in an apartment complex and it's nearby. It's within 10 minutes from us. And he said, it's haunted. He said, it used to be a children's home. And then it was turned into a nursing home. And he said, now it's apartments. And he says, me and this other guy that lived there are experiencing all this stuff. And then the other guy stepped out of the store and he starts telling us. So we do go and investigate still, just like, all the teams do and the individuals do. That's not a van. It's not money. There's no money. I mean, we just go investigate. Because that's what we started doing. That's what I did for many, many years. And that's what I still love to do. So. Yeah,
me too. I really do. I honestly miss the private homes, like investigating private homes. We've gotten, I've gotten like private case requests and stuff, and I've worked with the people, but we were able to help them without doing an investigation. To me, that's a successful case, when you don't have to do an investigation, when you help people, but I do miss those investigations, not that I knock the historic places and all that stuff in the cemeteries, because those are cool too. So was there ever, aside from, California and a closet and this and that, was there any dare that you guys couldn't do?
I couldn't do one because I was very injured. The cactus.
Oh yeah.
Arizona or Ajo, Arizona.
Yeah. We had a dare to go to Ajo, Arizona, and that turned out really bad for Jess. Actually, almost turned into a disaster. It weren't for some very good friends that were out there at the time that helped us out.
Gates.
The Gates, Maria and her husband. But we had an event there at the Phelps Dodge Hospital, which I don't know, for people that haven't ever been there. There's probably a lot of people haven't ever been there because it's like 45 miles across the Sonoran Desert. It's 10 minutes from the Mexican border. And so there's nothing out there except Border Patrol.
And that's intimidating in itself.
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
intimidating. So and right before the event was about to start, we were actually taking some equipment in, and Jess fell on a cactus face down, face
wow.
first. And somebody had cut down a big cactus, and
They laid it out like a freaking bed, like all these long cactus parts, laying out like a big comfy bed, but it wasn't very comfy.
yeah, so it was completely dark, and so she's climbing up this hill, and she trips, hits the cactus, and falls face first on the cactus. So she had like 2,000
Oh,
stuck in her.
oh my God, you poor
I'm
thing.
still getting them out.
Yeah,
I'm still getting them out.
yeah. So it was really bad. I mean,
He laughed at me.
well, everybody laughed at first because nobody thought it was serious. Like she's laying on the ground yelling help. We're like, get up, because nobody could see the cactus because it was dark.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So, but anyway, so neither here nor there. But yeah, we've had dares where things didn't work out so good, or people will dare us to go to places and we try to get in, we just can't. There's a lot of places like that. There's so many cool places that are abandoned, or hospitals. I mean, insane asylums, mental institute. There's all kinds of crazy places out there, but that doesn't mean you can get into them all. And a lot of
Or that they're safe to get into.
yeah.
I mean, leaving 40 people in the dark.
Yeah. Safety is a big issue, so we have to be able to put people in a place safely.
Right. So that's what you do. So okay, so you do have events at places. So you have you invite more than just 10 people. So like all these people, not the private homes. The private homes is,
Yeah, we sell tickets online on our website and on Facebook. We advertise the events. So what we do is we'll go investigate a place ourselves, Chris, Jess, and I. And when Eric was with us, Eric Knapp used to be with us, and we'll go to a place, we'll stay a few days, and we'll actually investigate. Sometimes we'll investigate one night, sometimes we'll investigate for a week. But we'll investigate to a point where we make a decision that, yes, there's activity here we can't explain, or no, everything that somebody's claiming there seems to be a rational explanation for, because that is the case many times. We try to debunk everything. We don't want to take people in places where things are being caused naturally, or somebody's trying to hoax something, or things like that. We don't ever want that to happen. So we'll go in, investigate, and then we'll set up an event with the owner or the establishment for like 3 months down the road or 6 months down the road. And then we'll sell tickets to things, and we'll, bring all of our patrons and everything with us, and throw a big, nice event, investigate till 2 or 3 in the morning, and have fun.
That's awesome. There's a question. Ever been to Rockton Mountain in PA?
I have not. No. It sounds cool.
Yeah, they said all they said was, Brian, you gotta give me more, dude. He said a lot of reports there. That sounds like a dare to me.
It does sound like
a dare. It does.
Well, we love Pennsylvania. We were up there, and I think we talked about this with you. We were up there for the Gettysburg thing a couple of years ago, and we loved it up there. Absolutely loved it.
Yep.
We pulled our big Paranormal Dares camper up there, and all through the hills, up and down and up and down. Oh my God. And I think we actually stayed at Gettysburg campsite there, which was really cool.
Oh, it was beautiful. That was the best place I lived.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Awesome.
So I want to do some more events in Pennsylvania, but we just haven't had any there. I mean, we've done them in 28 states, but not Pennsylvania yet.
You need some dares.
Let's go. I will go to Gettysburg whenever the heck you guys want to go to Gettysburg. And it's really cool to go because between April 1st and October 31st, the park's open. Well, everybody calls it the battlefield. The battlefield's open till 10 p.m. At night. So there's a whole different feeling when the sun goes down. I'll tell you. Not that it's bad. But you can feel more of the energy, at night. I don't know why. Who knows? Maybe it's the dark. We psychic ourselves out or something. I don't know. Yeah. But it's a really cool.
I am so sorry. Sorry, Shady.
Oh no, I didn't even hear anything.
Oh,
He's over here barking.
What's your, now you guys do this all together? Like all three of you are always together when this happens?
Well, yeah, when we do events and when we go like to check out places for events, we're always together. Now Chris has gone individually and checked out places where he has access. I've gone individually. Jess has gone individually. So we can do individual stuff. But when it's like, if we're going like for a company, like, you know, a company investigation, yeah, we'll all three try to go.
Yeah. There's like two big events coming up in Gettysburg, Phenomenology and the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. Are you guys coming?
We may.
You should.
We may.
You should. It's such a fun time.
No, last year it was canceled.
Oh.
Yeah, last year was, yeah.
Yeah, it was canceled because of COVID.
Year before?
Year before, yeah.
Were you sponsored?
No, we didn't sponsor it. No, yeah, but yeah, we've actually sponsored Paracons, and I'm very interested in the Gettysburg. I mean, it's such a great cause. You know, for the Wounded Warriors, and 2 years ago is the Children's Hospital, and I think the Wounded Warriors. You know, we had a great time up there. It was super cool. This year, the problem with being an event company is you have most of your weekends are you schedule events. So, and most of the Paracons and the you know, the phenomena, all these things that go on are usually on the weekends where we have events scheduled.
Yeah, that's true.
It's more of a timing thing. You know, it's like, all right, we're in, you know, Illinois, and tomorrow this thing is going on in Pennsylvania. You know, it's just not. It's just timing.
So there was a question. Somebody agreed. Definitely feel it. Hi, Skater. He said definitely feel it more at night. Somebody asked, "Oh, get any evidence? Have you ever?" Well, I mean, yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming along the way you guys have gotten. Well, what would you say was your most profound moment? Like most. You know,
what would you say? I've got a lot of what do you think is our most profound thing that's happened at an event?
I've had a bunch of personal stuff happen. Probably the most profoundly personal thing for me, it was shortly after my father died, and we were down doing the Georgia event at St. Mary's with John Zappis. And I was behind the camera, and John was running a ghost box session. And this voice came over, and I've had voices come over, and they've said my first name, they've said Chris, they've said my last name, Wolfgang. I've never had one come across and say Christopher Wolfgang.
Really?
In one, just both of them together. And when it said that, it was like I just got hit in the chest.
Right.
I got real emotional, and I knew it was my dad trying to make contact with me. So
that's awesome.
Probably, yeah, that would probably be the most profound thing personally that's happened for me. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen.
True.
It doesn't matter how many people are there.
Right. I know what it feels like to have, like, you know, when you're hosting an event, you know, and you have people there, and you're just hoping so badly that they have a great experience, you know, like, you know, you have to tell people, you know, listen, you bought tickets, but we can't promise anything. You always got to give that disclaimer, you know. And then sometimes, you know, you have to let them believe that the equipment is like really, like, you know, working, and it's like communicating, you know, and you gotta like kind of, but when something really happens, it just makes it all worth it. You know, you're like, just to see the people that are coming out, the enthusiasts that come out, and the people that buy your tickets and they come out and they have that experience, you know, you're just like, yes, we did a good job. We have a new fan. We're going to have people that, you know, they're going to share our stuff. And you know what I mean? Like, it's always good to have that.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you say that, because, you know, I think back, many, many, many years ago. Show my age here, but I can remember when K2 meters first came out, and
Really?
when you got one, whatever, and when you got one, and you'd ask a question, and it would light up to yellow or something, and like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Right.
Now, we've done so many events. I've done, a few thousand investigations over the years. And now it's like, even with all the modern technology and everything, like I want to see the chair fly across the room and, doors like slam open and somebody yell my name. Like, it's so funny how your expectations, years ago watch. And so I have to stop and catch myself sometimes because, a lot of our fans and things at events, they're like, oh my God, did you see that K2 light up? And, I really do sometimes because I've been doing it so long, have to stop and put myself in their shoes and think, this is a big deal because they watch this stuff at home on TV. And now they get to come out and actually experience it in real time.
Right.
No cameras, no editing, no producers running around behind all the celebrities telling them to cut and restart. It's the real thing. And this could be the greatest experience they have in, with anything to do with paranormal is that K2 lighting up. So
Right.
we have to kind of remind ourselves of that a lot. And, it kind of keeps me humble, I think, and back to my roots of when I started. So, yeah.
And then on the same note, though, whenever we do an event and have even teams will come, many different teams, been doing it 5 years, 5 months, way longer. And, we're not so high at, like, we believe that we can learn, they
Right.
can learn from us and we can learn from them. Like, I'm you hear all about this para unity and stuff like that, but whenever it comes down to it, it's like, is it real?
Yeah.
Because every time we have a team come with us, we're like, it's okay. We want you to teach. We want to learn from you because you have stuff that you can teach us. Everybody could do stuff. I just saw Shell. Yeah. But anyway, everyone can learn from each other.
Absolutely.
Cheryl just said she's excited for the Gill House. That's an event we have coming up.
Yeah.
We're pretty excited too. It's at the end of May, and April, May. Yeah, May. It's at the end of May, and it's on our website. The Gill House is in Galion, Ohio, very close to where Chris and I grew up and where Chris still lives. And it's a very cool place. It's like this old antebellum kind of mansion.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's federal. It's like from attic to basement, 4 stories, huge rooms.
Mm-hmm. Super creepy, super haunted history.
It's really cool.
So, little fact: I used to live in Ohio for 3 years.
Really?
Yeah. I'm born and raised in Jersey, unfortunately. And by the time I turned 19, I was like, I'm over it. Went to Ohio, Fremont, and it's really like a little step. It's like 45 minutes from Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
It took me about 6 months to not like it. Now, mind you, I wasn't in the paranormal or nothing. I threw myself in. I went from Jersey to Fremont, Ohio. It was like a total culture shock.
Cornfields and soybeans.
Those people that lived in Fremont were not ready for a Jersey girl. Let me tell you. But so I moved back, then I was like, I got to get out of here. The coolest place I was at was Put in Bay, thought that was awesome. I went to Cedar Point once, but that was it,
Yeah, you always told me with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Put in Bay was so much fun. It was so fun. But anyway, getting back to, the doors flying open. So there's an inn in Gettysburg that I stay at a lot. And I've gotten Class A EVPs from this inn. And one night I was made friends with the concierge, and he let us. The inn was open. There was nobody else staying there, so he's like, "All right, go ahead." He's like, "I just want to. Can I follow and watch? I want to see what you guys do." Yeah. So there was 3 of us, and we were investigating the inn, and we were in one of the rooms. Now, the room that I love to stay in has a basement door that goes down to a basement that was a morgue at one point, and it's got a dirt floor still. And we were sitting there, and all of a sudden, and the door is still the old school door from like the late 1800s, you know? So it's got multiple, you know, it's like this, you have to click it and push it and do this and turn it, you know? And I mean, it's like very difficult to just poof open, you know? We're sitting there and it's quiet, and I was getting ready to like, all right, I got to go to bed. And then all of a sudden you hear this click, click, click. You could hear the wind from the door, and the door just flew open, left a mark on the wall. The concierge guy goes, "Fuck this, I'm out. I'm not staying here. What the heck?" He's like, "No." He's like, "I didn't." I'm like, "Well," I was like, "This is what you wanted to see." Like, he's like, "Nope." And I mean, it was probably one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. And because how do you explain that? It's not it. You know, when wind opens a door, the door just opens. You know, like a little bit. You know, this, you could hear the locks, you could hear the doorknob, and then it just, you could hear the air. I have it because I had a recorder, thankfully, right there. And you just hear boom, right against the wall. And I was like, you can leave, but you need to look at that wall, because I want you to know that I did not do that. And I'm not going to get charged for that. Whatever damage got done.
Yeah.
But this inn, it's called the Inn at Lincoln Square, and it's right on the square in Gettysburg. And it has been around for almost 200 years. And, you know, they have, I mean, the activity there is amazing. So if you guys ever go to Gettysburg, I would recommend staying there. Or my friends, Pam and Steve, the ones that put on the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, they just got it's called the 1912 Hoover House, and that's it's in Waynesboro, PA. It's not Gettysburg. It's like right outside. It's like probably 30 minutes from Gettysburg. But another very interesting, awesome place to go. I'm actually, don't get me started on Gettysburg, because I could sit here and tell you about every single step of the way, all the awesome places.
Yeah, we actually loved it up there, and we are going to get back up there. It's just a matter of when. Schedules are very, you know, Chris has a schedule, I have a schedule, she has a schedule. Plus, she runs the Asher Walton House, which we're actually sitting in.
Oh yeah. We got to talk about that too.
Yeah, that's scary mirror behind us back there. So if you see any reflections that aren't us, let me know. So
absolutely. So your next one is end of May, and that is what did she say?
Gill House.
The Gill House.
Yep.
Gill
So
House.
now, do people at so like if I owned do people that own the inns and own the places, do they reach out to you, or do like Joe Schmo reaches out to you and says, "Hey," like just like what I did? Okay, I said, "Oh, you guys got to go to the Inn Lincoln Square."
It's a little bit both.
A little bit of both, yeah.
But would you guys then reach out to them, or would the people get you hooked up with them? And I mean,
usually
sometimes it's just blind luck.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes it's blind
You're
luck.
pulling into a town to find something to eat at 9 o'clock at night, and Keith's chasing some guy down the road trying to find someplace, and he's running from us because we're in a blacked out SUV. Like, hey, you know someplace to eat? And the guy points back there, and he goes, there was a bar down underneath this building, and we go in. We're sitting at the bar. We've ordered our food. And they said, well, you know there's a hotel above us, don't you? I'm like, no. And we said, is it haunted? And then, like, in unison around the whole bar, is it haunted? So that ends up, we're going to be doing that 3 times this year.
Place.
Yeah, which now we have 3 events booked at, which is the original Springs Hotel, which was that story. We have 3 events booked starting in July, August, and then October. But I have a weird knack, Taryn, of finding locations. I don't know if it's a talent or a curse, I could walk down a street and not know anything about the town and find a haunted location.
True.
Chris
Very
teases
true.
me. She teases everyone that's ever known me teases me about it. But I've always had kind of a knack of kind of getting it out of people, like where the scariest places are, places that people haven't heard about. And
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
I try to book places that you can't always be successful at getting places that no one's ever been, but we've been pretty successful at getting quite a few. But I just find places. It's really weird.
So
Chris
weird.
makes fun of me because it.
So weird.
Tell him the Bigfoot story, Chris.
Well, you know what? I was actually just.
Or do you want him to?
So he had shown me this movie. It's called The Back 80, which if you have Amazon Prime, I highly recommend. It's a Bigfoot documentary. It was filmed like 30 minutes from my house. So he's like, he says, when Jess and I are in town, we got some free time, we're going to go hunt this place down. Well, I'd done some scouting on my own and found the place. And he's like, we're going to, he says, okay, he says, we got some free time, we're going to go dive down there. And it's in the middle of nowhere. And we're driving down this dirt road. We're coming down this hill, and this guy walks. Now, mind you, it's like 9:30 at night. It's pitch black. And we come down, and then we stop because there's this guy. He goes, I'm going to ask this guy. Well, this guy looks like a Sasquatch. I mean,
He's as big as
Yes.
I'm 6'5", about 235, 240 pounds. This guy was bigger than me. So he's like,
Wow.
I'm gonna ask. So he rolls down the window. He's like, hey, buddy. And the guy turns around and he's like, hey, do you have we're out here filming for, looking for locations and stuff for Bigfoot. And he goes, do you have any stories? And the guy's like, have any stories? Come on in. Next thing I know, we're in this guy's house, and he's talking to us about about his haunted house and like how his family owns like 300 acres down there, and
Wow. Say, guys all went downstairs to some kind of dungeon while I was upstairs with a cell phone with 911 on.
This is a true story. No, I'm gonna tell you, this is funny because this guy's as big as a house, okay, and he lives in the middle of nowhere by himself in this
Oh my gosh.
really creepy and cool house.
I'd be like, this is like how Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Yes.
exactly what I was thinking.
That kind of stuff. So I'm like, yeah, of course we'll come in. So we go in, and he's like showing us around. He's like, so let me tell you a little bit about my house. He goes, there was a couple murders here.
Yeah, German.
And we're all looking at each other, and he's like, let's go down the basement, and I'll tell you
I
what.
didn't go.
So he tells us this story about this person that lived there years ago who ate his children.
I've seen too many scary stories.
Like, that's for real?
Yeah,
For real.
It was for
Yes.
real.
Now, whether it was real or not, or he was feeding us a line, I could not find anything historically to corroborate it. Now, this took place in the very early 1800s, before Ohio was ever a state.
Yes.
And I could not. I went through historical records. I went through everything trying to back this guy's story up. Couldn't find anything. So whether or not this guy was feeding us a line, I don't know.
But when we went to the basement, he had like a dungeon with shackles and stuff. And then this creepy chair sitting in the middle of the room, like you would torture people on or something. And Jess is upstairs. She's like, no, I'm not going down there.
No.
So anyway, it turns out the guy owned a bunch of land, and he has Bigfoot sightings all the time on his land. And he lives in a creepy house where supposedly people got eaten. So,
And you don't want to go
Has a weird torture chair.
yeah, that's kind of stuff you find when you're out looking for event locations.
That's stuff you find when you hang out with Paranormal Dares. Just saying.
So where do you guys kind of where's your stomping grounds? You know, like what's mainly the area or the vicinity that you guys are at? Like, where's the Gill House at? Where's you know, all the places.
Yeah, there's no one area. We're based out of Atlanta, which is close to Indianapolis. But we traveled. We've done events in 28 states. So there's no one area. The Gill House is in Galion, Ohio. Our next event after that is in Atchison, Kansas. Our next one after that is in Okawaville, Illinois.
Yeah,
Oakville, Illinois.
However they say it.
However they say it. I think it's Okawa. Okay. But Oakville. But yeah, so we're
so fun. I wish I could quit my job and just go fun everywhere. Like I mean, like I have such a boring paranormal life compared to what you guys are doing. I love it.
Well,
let me
do
tell
you guys go live when you do this?
It's a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like,
well, do we go live? Well, we always have good intentions of going live a lot of times, but
reception.
We get so busy with doing stuff.
Busy and reception.
And we just either forget to do it or we just don't have time to do it.
Or we don't get reception.
Yeah.
That's
or we don't get reception.
And like, there's been a lot of times where we could like set up something so it would broadcast live, but then we don't get the signal.
Right.
Yeah, and actually coming up at some of our future events, we're actually looking at some camera systems that we can set up, some static cams that will go live and broadcast live. It may not be the entire event because we actually want you to get a ticket and come to our event, but there may be static cameras in certain areas where people can log on to our website and actually watch part of the event in a certain area. So that's something we're seriously looking at right now. So
that's awesome. That's a good idea. I mean, even if you had an interactive, you know, once in a while had an interactive live where, you know, somebody was watching and, you know, if you guys aren't on a certain floor, you know, and, you know, there's somebody watching and go, oh, I just saw whatever, you know, and you guys can go up there and do your thing.
Yeah.
Well, Jess is going to test the cameras out at the Walton House, we think. So we're talking about putting up a camera here at the Walton House so people can like go to Asher Walton's Facebook page or whatever and log in.
Yeah.
So before we talk about the house, Chris, you say you retired ambulance, right?
I was actually retired from the fire service.
Service.
I was a deputy fire chief when I retired. Medic, fire investigator.
So it's safe to say that some of the techniques that because I believe this, you know, that some of the techniques we use, I grew up in a very police blue line family, you know, my brothers are cops, my dad's cops, my uncles are cops, like everybody's cops, you know, and I do believe that, you know, some of the ways that they investigate stuff, you know, is kind of parallel to the way we investigate things in the paranormal field.
How I was taught to investigate a fire is you went in with a blank slate and you started ruling things out. You first found your origin and you start ruling things out, and then once you've ruled everything out and you're left with nothing else, then this had to be an arson.
Right.
You don't start out thinking it's an arson.
Right.
You start out including everything. Well, that's kind of the way I do the investigation is I start looking at what else could it be and then start throwing things. Well, it can't be that. It can't be that. Oh, hi, Shady.
That's Shady.
Oh, hi, baby.
It's Shady the Dare Dog.
Oh my God.
He hurt himself.
He hurt his back the other day, so he walked up to us limping.
Oh.
He's recovering from I think a pulled muscle.
Oh my God, she is so adorable. I become instant mush with little fur babies like that. Like I just want.
Yeah.
Oh.
He has his own Facebook page, Shady the Dare Dog.
Does Shady come along with?
He does.
Sometimes, yeah.
He is.
Okay, that's it. I'm signed up.
Yeah. When we take our Paranormal Dares travel trailer, we've got a 23-foot trailer, and when we take it to events or to sites, he comes. That's kind of our home away from home. We were spending, I know the first year we were in business, just a ridiculous amount of money on airfare, hotels. When you're putting 3 or 4 people up, you're flying around with 3 or 4 people, the costs really, really add up. So we had to think of a way to kind of curve the cost so we didn't pass it on to our customers, and we wanted to come to our events. So it was an investment buying the travel trailer. So now, we do a lot more driving, but when we get there, we don't need to stay anywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you're saving money.
Yeah, we just pull over and go to sleep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You got it?
With all your before you guys retired and stuff like that, were there any? Did you believe in the paranormal stuff while you were like a firefighter? How did your
yeah.
How did your peeps feel about that? Were they like, you're crazy, or?
I was kind of always the oddball at the fire department. I would be the guy at Halloween sitting down in the lounge watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and just digging on that. But no, some people had experiences. It goes back to the station that Keith and I worked at. I believe whatever was there followed me to the fire station.
Sorry.
And we started having other people start experiencing things. So eventually people started talking about it. But I was already the oddball, so it really didn't matter. They knew I was into the ghosts. They knew I was into the haunted houses. So it didn't bother me because, I grew up with a parent who very much was very open-minded about it. My dad had all of his experiences when at the farmhouse he lived in, and his brothers, and so I just grew up knowing that this stuff was real.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, there's no question for me.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, me neither. Like, I honestly, I don't do this to try to prove to anybody that's a non-believer that it exists. I do it because I'm passionate about it. I love it. I know it exists. I've had experiences. I've felt, I've seen, I've heard, I've touched, so I believe it. And,
Well, it's like I'll come up to the Asher Walton house to hang out sometimes. It's like a 3.5 hour drive for me. So I'll drive over and I'll spend a few days with them. And Keith and Jess and I will hang out at the Asher Walton. We don't even try to capture any evidence. We just sit and just experience what the house gives us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And because I know it's real, because I know it's all real, I don't have to worry about catching anything.
Right.
I'm just there and I just gather personal experiences.
Yeah. And that's like an awesome thing to be able to just do, you're not, don't get me wrong. Like, I probably would be sitting there chilling, like something happens and I'm like, I got to go get my recorder. Like, I got to get, you know what I mean? Like, just to have it,
Jess is going to talk about the house, but let me tell you, if you ever get the opportunity to go to Asher Walton, take it.
All right. So Jess, Ashton Walton. Now, is this a house that you acquired before Paranormal Dares, before Keith, or is this something you guys got together? Is this, you live there? Is it open to the public? Is like people can come and investigate?
Well, we were actually doing Paranormal Dares way before we came down to Indiana. I'm sure half of y'all can tell I got a little bit of a country accent.
I love it.
So, I'm from Kentucky. He's from Ohio. And we moved up here. We met in Tennessee. We moved up here and with Paranormal Dares, and then started doing the Asher Walton house.
Mm-hmm. Our a good friend of ours and part of our financier for our company actually owns the Walton House.
Okay.
Has owned it for a number of years, but it was just closed off.
He had like storage, like he had desks everywhere and bags, and I mean the entire you couldn't even walk around. I mean, there was stuff everywhere.
Mhm.
And so when Keith and I came over here, we was like, wow, this is, you could kind of feel it, it makes you feel a little funny. And we started talking to him about it, and then it's been probably less than a year that we've opened it now.
Yeah, it's been about right at a year, a little bit less. But I came here, so I've been coming up here with my friend long before I met Jess and before I got together with Chris. And he's had the Asher Walton House for about 10 years. The house was built in 1868, so it's a very old house.
Oh, it
And
sounds fun.
there's many,
Yeah.
many generations of the Walton family that lived and died in this house. So there was a long history with the house, but he only used it for storage.
Yeah.
So he let me come over here privately. And then when Jess and I come up, we came over together. And there were so many stories and so many things going on. We just had to investigate it. And when we did, we caught a tremendous amount of evidence. And I mean, a tremendous amount of stuff happened. So we knew right away that this was kind of a diamond in the rough. So we convinced him to let us, get the boxes out, and just started managing it. And now,
Open it.
yeah, get it open for the public.
Our first hunt here was with Dave, Steve, Bruce, Tango.
Yeah, it was
Oh, cool.
Tango, Steve Gonzalez, and Dave Tango all came.
It was like a big.
We had a big public
just-
hunt here.
Yeah, it was just like a big old event. Yeah.
And
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, when now Paranormal Dares has done some events here. There's some other companies coming in later this year to do some events.
Mhm.
But now Jess rents it out to paranormal teams that come in, and they rent the house for the evening and stay. And there's been a lot of things that have been caught here by a lot of different teams so far. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's actually why we're
Yeah.
sitting here. He was running away because
Yeah. There's
our dog is over here and he's like freaking out over something. He's barking at midair.
So I have to go back because I did think I saw something in the mirror, but I don't know if my hair like went in front of my face or something like that. So I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to like get anybody all like excited.
Well,
so I have to go back and look.
Well, this very room that we're sitting in, not too long ago, Chris was here.
yeah.
So we had a couple of friends over. One of them is an engineer, computer engineer, actually. So she kind of thinks very logically. She hasn't had a lot of paranormal experience. So we're sitting at this very spot that we're sitting right now at this table with an SLS camera pointed at this door right there. So we have the camera pointed at that door, and she said something to the effect of, "Is there anyone in the room with us?" Because we told her to ask a question, and instantly on the SLS camera, this stick, how they show up as stick figures, shows up standing right there by the door. So we all said, "Okay, we can see you. Thank you for joining us." And it starts walking, like plainly walking. So I'm turning the camera to my left. Well, there's another door over to that side because this is like a room with two double doors. And the door was closed. And as we're sitting here, literally, it wasn't even dark yet. The door, we watched this stick figure walk right off camera towards that door, and the doorknob turns, the door swings open, and then it's back shut while we're sitting here.
Amazing.
I'm like, that was like, we were just like sitting.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say? You're like
this.
this.
Really happened?
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm sure you guys are. Did you see that? Yeah, I saw that. Like,
Oh yeah.
So it's just that kind of stuff happens in this particular house a lot. We go to a lot of great locations, and that's what we've been I feel very honored that we've been able to do this all over the country because we've seen some really cool places. I mean, the Asher Walton House is cool. Obviously, this is Jess's baby. She takes care of it and everything. But at the same time, we've been to lots of places that are just so cool. I mean, there's so many, I always hear people say, oh, I can't find any place to go ghost hunt. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many places out there. It's just ridiculous.
Wonder how far away it is from Jersey.
From Jersey? Indianapolis. Yeah, Indianapolis. So.
And is that near Tennessee?
No.
It's on the same block that Rhodes Hotel.
Okay.
Rhodes Hotel.
Yeah, that's right down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's like you guys got that double whammy going on right there.
Literally,
Probably be about
Someone was asking us at another event if they're connected, and we just found out something really cool.
Yeah, the two of Asher Walton's sons ended up marrying Mr. Rhodes' daughters. So the two haunted locations are actually connected by family, which we didn't know till recently.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and we're only 100 yards down the sidewalk. So
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. So a lot of teams will come to town and investigate, one here on Friday, there on Saturday, or there on Friday and here on Saturday. So they can make a whole weekend of it if they can book both places. So
oh my God, you guys could totally have like an event because you'll have two places. You guys could totally have an event for both places.
Yeah, well, we've talked to Mike about it several times, and we're hoping that something will happen this year. I know he was kind of gun shy with COVID and everything, and now that Indiana's opened up quite a bit. So we do have a big yard here at the Walton House that'll hold hundreds of people, actually.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big venue. So Jess has talked about putting together some big events. So
yeah, that sounds awesome.
Maybe even a Paracon with your show.
Oh, that would be cool. I'll come down. Be like, that would be awesome. I tried to be a little clever with like the show name. I was like, Paranormal Brew welcomes Paranormal Dares. You just want to I think it's awesome what you guys do, and I would someday hopefully be able to be a part of it. Maybe even come out to the house and hang out. And just kind of
that would be awesome.
Whatever. Yeah, I would love to.
Anytime, and load your boyfriend up, come down and stay a night or two, and have a very cool experience here.
The sad thing with that is he's not into it. So I tend to do a lot of my ghost hunting stuff solo.
Just bring a few friends.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room.
Yep.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely have a couple of friends that would definitely come with for sure. They're the ones that I have. They used to be on the brew with me. Sabrina and Tony. They're a couple, but Sabrina's like my soul sister, best friend. But anytime I have an investigation or I'm going to do something, they come with. So definitely would be. Somebody's saying, "Take me." See, here's another friend. You can come, Craig.
So
Craig,
Keith, tell her about the door to the porch.
Oh, yeah. You want to tell me that about the back porch? Or you want me to tell it? I can tell it.
You can tell it.
Okay. So, this house has a back door that goes out to a back porch, and it has a big front porch, like a wraparound porch. So, one night we got in late after, I think it was after an event, wasn't it, Chris? Or
No. We're here.
Oh, that's right. We were just here. So we stayed the night here. It was like, I don't know.
We were getting ready for our Halloween event.
That's what it was. I knew there was an event involved.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris came in, and he late at night he came down to use the restroom because the restroom was downstairs and we were upstairs. And he came down, used the restroom. Nothing was really unusual or whatever. Went back upstairs. Well, a couple hours later, he comes back down. I don't know what time it was.
We flatter.
I came down it was about 3:41 because the cameras got me going back up the stairs at 3:42.
Yeah, so it was like 3:40 something in the morning. He comes back down, and the house is freezing cold. Now, Jess and I
in the morning.
This is the middle of winter.
Yeah, it was
like it was, well, not winter, but it was really cold.
Yeah, so we're upstairs asleep in the front part of the house. He comes down, and the house is freezing cold. He looks over, and the back door of the house is standing wide open.
Oh wow.
It's a deadbolt lock from the inside. There's no
You can
key
show
on the
it.
outside. No. So because I have to carry the whole computer. Anyway, we rewound. It has a security system. Rewound the tape. So what happened basically was the door flew open by its own. You hear this big bang, but before that, you can actually hear the deadbolt unlocking from the inside.
Oh.
You can see it plain as day on cameras. There's nobody there, but the deadbolt turns. The door flies open violently, so violently it actually broke the stained glass that's in the door.
Oh wow.
And then after that, for like 15 minutes, you hear all kinds of talking, footsteps, everything, and downstairs in the house on different cameras. Now we're upstairs the whole time,
Sleeping.
sound asleep. Never heard a thing.
You can see us on video. We're all.
You can see us like on the cameras
we're
upstairs,
asleep.
sound asleep.
Wow.
All this is going on downstairs without our knowledge, and it was crazy.
That sounds
No,
awesome.
and the thing of it is, though, you had a team, a couple come in and have a web series, Paranormal Encounters, and Keith provided him the security footage, and he actually was able to enhance the audio where he could hear a man and a woman arguing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
About I think the woman was trying to keep the man from leaving the house or something to that nature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so Keith and I are just kind of sitting next to each other at the monitor, and we're watching this, and we see this door go flying open, and we both sit up in our chairs and we looked at each other, and then you hear all this. I looked over at Keith and I'm like, what's this place going to do next?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, the thing that's kind of disturbing, though, is it's physically manipulating a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing because we've had doors come open. We've both seen, all three of us had seen doorknobs turn. Never once have I ever experienced a physical lock being open. Like,
Yeah.
turning. That was a first for me. And
Yeah.
it's like, what's this place going to do now?
That's so cool.
It
I want
is.
to come hang out.
Well,
Come on.
bring it on down. You see her shirt here. She's showing off her shirt.
Yeah, let's see. Well, you gotta stand up. Oh, I like it.
It's the Paranormal Encounters shirt. Hold
Oh,
on.
that's awesome. Mine's boring. Mine's just I love ghost hunting.
Oh, there we go.
Love it.
So before, I mean, I've had you guys for an hour and 15 minutes already. Which I can keep talking because I talk a lot, but I want you guys to kind of just plug away, like, how do people get in touch with you? If anybody has a paranormal dare, wait, have you guys been to Pennhurst?
Well, I have been to Pennhurst. They have not, though. The company has not been to Pennhurst. No.
You gotta come to Pennhurst. I will totally go with you guys. There's people that have connection, experience more, in certain types of buildings, but Rockwell Tunnel, I have heard psych screams in there. At an event, because I help them out sometimes when they have like public ghost hunts and stuff. I'll just go and I'll be like, somebody that takes little groups around, and we go into the Rockwell Tunnel. We hear like breaths in between everybody, and I mean, it's just, the place is amazing. Yeah. Oh, look, somebody just said Pennhurst is amazing. It really is. I mean, it will not disappoint for sure.
Well, I'd love to come check it out. We kind of just to wrap up the Paranormal Dares thing, but to get in touch with us, you can go to our website, www.paranormaldares.com. There's a part on there, submit a dare. If you click on it, it opens up a screen. You can send us a message. Comes right to our email. You can check out all our events. We've got. He's barking.
Oh, you don't have to be sorry. Trust me.
So we you can check out all our events on our website or on our Facebook page. We've got one event, 5 events now out there, 5 different dates. So, you know, you can come out and join us. We're going to be at the Gill House is next. Then after that, a month later, we'll be in Atchison, Kansas at the McIntyre Villa, which is always one of our favorites. Very, very cool location.
I actually am trying to get her to get Stephanie.
Yeah.
To interview Stephanie. That will be a memorable experience.
Yeah, Stephanie Atkins O'Neill runs McIntyre Villa. And then after that, we'll be at Original Springs Hotel, which is a place we've been trying to set up for over a year. We finally just got everything set up, and we're actually doing 3 different weekends there over a 3-month period.
Yeah.
So that is a super, super cool place.
I'm excited.
And that's in Illinois. So they can check out all our events, check out about us. There's tons of videos on there.
Awesome.
All kinds of stuff on there for people to see and watch, and come out and join us sometime.
Absolutely. Well, there was a question here, and I think it's an interesting question. What is the difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator, in your opinion? I don't know if you guys want to answer that. I can answer it. You can answer it.
I can tell you this. You know, a lot of people call themselves ghost hunters or paranormal investigators. I guess it depends on what you're doing at the time. Or what you prefer to do. There's people that just hunt ghosts that say, I'm not a paranormal investigator. I just ghost hunt. Well, they really are paranormal investigators. They just like to refer to themselves as ghost hunters because that's simpler to say. I don't think there's any difference. I mean, if you're looking for the unknown, if you're trying to investigate the unknown, you're a paranormal investigator. Whether that be you specialize in ghost hunting, you specialize in, you know, just like people that love UFO, investigations call themselves ufologists. That's a big word for somebody that's a UFO hunter or, likes to stare at the sky. So, right. It's really more of just terms. It's really, pretty much the same thing either way.
Yeah. I think for me, I hate the term ghost hunter. I really do. Because when you talk to people that don't know about it, they automatically say, oh, like Ghostbusters. I'm like, no, no, yeah. Plus I don't know. For me, I say, I'm in the paranormal research, I research, so investigate, because it's, to me, ghost hunter sounds a little gimmicky, and I just think that a researcher, it's because researching is what we do, right? I mean, Chris, you say yourself, you went down and you're digging into historical archives and you're trying to find, the stories behind what the places that, I mean, that's a researcher. That's an investigator. You're investigating claims. Ghost hunter, you're just going in there because you're like, I think a ghost hunter goes in to find the ghost and a researcher goes in to find the source first, that where it could be a man-made thing. And then if you can't come up with something, then okay, yeah, this could be paranormal, That's my opinion.
Yeah, I've been doing it a long time, and I've heard a lot of people call themselves both. I guess I really don't. It doesn't matter to me either way. I mean, we're all in it. I hope, anyways, or the people that I associate myself with are in it to do the research, to do the investigating. I did years and years of that before I ever started doing events. But now, even at events, I mean, we meet people that come in that have been doing this a tremendous amount of time and have a tremendous amount of knowledge. We've had reverends, rabbis, shaman, priests, judges, lawyers, doctors, a cardiologist. All these people have attended our events.
That's awesome.
It's a whole wealth of knowledge from, complete strangers that come in just for the night that are all there for different reasons. Everybody says, oh, we're all here to hunt the paranormal. No, not everybody's there for that reason. Some people are there to disprove it all. Some people are there just to have a very personal experience because of a death in their family or a loved one. We've had people come to an event in Wyoming and start crying during the event. This actually happened. And I said, "What's wrong, dear?" And she goes, "My husband back in Ohio," and I think she was from Cleveland, "passed away. And I wanted to come to this event to see if I can get him to talk to me."
Oh,
Now, that's a very personal thing, but she went all the way to Wyoming to one of our events to do that.
right.
So everyone is there for their own reasons, and we just respect that. We want everyone to have fun. Whether anything happens or not, we want you to leave that you've had a great time. You got to go to a great location. Hopefully, we were able to give you some knowledge and some, things that will help you investigate in the future. And if you can't get any of that stuff, then maybe you just had a good time, and that's good enough, So
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. Most of the people that you circle with are cool. You know what I mean? So, you're going to have a good experience no matter what. So that's a good thing. Bill Freeman, he's actually he's a part of Selma Mansion, and they do a lot of events. So could be another, but again, that's Norristown, PA. Listen, anytime you guys want to come to like PA, because Jersey, I mean, we have the Pine Barrens and stuff like that, but it's just not, but anytime you guys want to do stuff in PA,
Is there cactus there?
No, you're safe. No, there's just insane people. There's insane people. Might be a little worse than cactus, but
I doubt it.
Yeah.
But you guys, I have a humongous house. You guys are more than welcome to stay. And
Thank you.
So researcher versus thrill seeker. I think somebody asked this. He asked this too. Researcher versus thrill seeker. I think what I said, a paranormal enthusiast would just be somebody that watches the shows and wants to come out. They're not part of a group. They're not.
I think you're always gonna, because we do such a diverse. We can't tell who's going to show up, and you get a diverse crowd. And I think there are people that come for that jump scare.
Right.
And generally those are the people, this is their first event. They've never had a paranormal experience, so they don't know what one's like when they,
right.
And then, because I try to explain to people, I'm like, look, when things happen to me, it's very, very rarely a jump scare. Very rare. I mean, you sit up and you're kind of like, wow, okay, that was weird. And then your mind starts going through, okay, the normal things that it can be. And it might be, you might sit and think about it for a couple hours before you decide, wow, I just had a paranormal. I mean, that was paranormal. And for me, it's generally, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have people that they'll be like, aren't you scared? And I think your brain tries to make scientific sense of what you're seeing or feeling or hearing first, and I think before you realize that you can't make sense of it, the experience is over. Yeah. So you don't have time to be scared because you don't know what you're looking at first,
Yeah, I see Troy, is it Hanny? Just said a lot of people come to events and think it's going to be like the shows, and that's actually true. A lot of people do come to events and they expect it to be like TV. I've done, as you well know, Taryn, I've been on and off TV several times, and I explain to people all the time, reality TV is not reality.
No.
And when they watch a 30-minute episode, that might have taken them 7 to 9 days to film. So when you come to an event and you're sitting around in the dark and nothing's happening, you move to another location, it's still kind of quiet or whatever, they are really coming to expect something to happen, because that is kind of the persona, or what TV leaves you with, is that, oh my God, they went into that house one night and look at all this stuff that happens. And it's really the farthest thing from the truth. Now, could it happen? Sure, but that's very rare.
Yeah, so, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I think the thrill seekers are the ones you see out during the urban exploration type stuff, where they're kind of just on the property,
around the back roads looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the Pine Barrens in New Jersey where there's wrong turn people.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we've said this before. Real live flesh and blood people are much scarier than anything paranormal.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. And that's the other thing too. Like a lot of the locations and stuff that people go to, you have to remember you have to get permission to go to these places, and you have to make sure it's safe. You have to make sure you know that where you're going, you're going to be safe. And a lot of times, and that's the thing, with the shows again, where they're going to these locations, and people that don't know any better think they're just walking up in there and doing an investigation.
And it's one thing for the three of us to go someplace kind of sketchy and investigate, because we're only putting the three of us in jeopardy,
right?
But to take a crowd of people into a building that's unsafe, or an area that's unsafe, that's just doesn't no good.
Yeah.
No, too much liability there. We try to avoid that at all costs. So. We investigate and check out every single location that we do an event.
Right.
That's not always the case with every event company, but I think most of the big event companies do that also. Because you just don't want to go find a place and then get there and find out it's not what you thought it was.
Right.
That's the wrong time to find out after you've sold, 20 tickets. So
right. For sure.
Tickets. So,
well, once again, I know we got off track again, but I want you guys to promote your stuff again. Like I want you to the Dares and the house and everything.
So you want to promote the Asher Walton House?
So if y'all are interested in the Asher Walton House, the email here is 1868walton@gmail.com. We have a lot of openings, and we would really appreciate you guys sharing it and liking the page, checking it out. There's a lot going on here. It's a brand new venue. Well, I say new. It's like
a year old,
almost a year old. But yeah, check it out.
Or you can just text Jess at Paranormal Dares. She'll get that too.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Asher Walton House Facebook page and send her a message. As far as Paranormal Dares, go to our Facebook page, go to my page, Keith, Jess, or Chris. You can reach out to us individually or Paranormal Dares, or go to our website. We actually just released some new products, some new clothing lines and stuff with the logos.
Oh, cool.
And I think that just got put on the website tonight. I think I just got that email. And then we also have a new Patreon site, so people can go to our Patreon site, and that's actually on Facebook, and become patrons to us. And there's some special things that we give those folks, and early ticket access and things like that. So come check that out, and come to one of our events and see.
Yeah, I want to come. I got to make sure this happens. Chris, me and you message a lot, so we have to make this happen.
Make it happen, Chris.
Yes.
Get her to one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, you guys. You guys are awesome. And if you ever, I mean, the way things are going, like we could also, if I can, we could always do a live investigation from the Walton House, and we can stream it on Facebook and YouTube and BB3 TV one night or something like that. We can always do that.
That would be great.
We've got business Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I know, right? But thank you so much, and Chris, thanks for coming. I thought you weren't coming, so I'm excited.
I finally got my computer set up, so
yeah, awesome. Well, I already love you guys, so I hopefully some people send you some dares, and I get to go to one of them.
Well,
Yeah.
well, we'll make sure that happens. You go on the site, pick an event, and we'll make sure you get there.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for joining me. And I'd love to have you guys on again after the season gets started, and after you guys are, you know what I mean? Just so we can maybe do a recap and tell us how things are going.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
All right.
that works.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining me. I just next week, I think is May 5th already. I will have Mark Nesbitt, author and store owner in Gettysburg, Ghosts of Gettysburg. I am super excited about it. Been a fan of his for a long time. I hope you guys check out Paranormal Dares. Send them some dares. If you send them a dare and they go out and they find the location to be haunted, then they hook you up with like whole, free stuff, investigations and staying places. And so look them up. I mean, I think what they're doing is awesome. I would absolutely love to give them a dare. I just don't, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to think about this. Anyway, I have a little bit of a cold. Sorry. So I hope you guys join me next week. I will have Mark Nesbitt on. Like I said, I'm looking so forward to that. I have always looked up to Mark Nesbitt since I've been in the field. And so I am so honored to have him come on to Paranormal Brew. And I also found out that the picture that I took in welcome, Vlad. The picture that I took on the railroad cut in Gettysburg of a Confederate soldier will be hanging up in his store. So again, that is like winning an Oscar to me, that it's actually going to go up in his store. So I hope you guys join me next week. I'll be here Wednesday, 7:30, with a little bit of a couple of shows in between that. But I want to thank everybody for joining me. I love y'all. Thank you so much for the support, and I hope to see you guys next week. Good night.